Who would have thought that being 4-0, one of two undefeated teams would have been so hard? We talking about takeaways from Tampa, Bucs, Eagles, Denver on next. This is Victory Mondays. Let's go.
From the city of brotherly love. All day, baby. You know that.
Let's hunt.
If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground.
Where are you going? I'm going to pick a fight.
Gives us nothing. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that why you are here?
Let the games begin.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. This is where they die.
Money is nice, championships are better.
I feel like that preview and intro is getting longer and longer. I'm about to say something. I was like, oh, we're not done yet. Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of Victory Mondays. Again, Victory Mondays. I am the player. I am the host. I'm the sailor. Call me Moss Money, and I got my GM with me, Erine B. And, man, Ernie B., what is going on in Philadelphia, bro? I never felt – actually, no, I think we felt this before. But, man, feeling undefeated don't feel like being undefeated, man. What you got on your side of the house, man?
Yeah, it's one of them things, man. I think it's funny that I think we touched on it last show. We are statistically in the most successful era in Eagles history.
Yes, sir.
And yet there are still some people talking, and that's outside the organization, and apparently it's also inside the organization. I just think it's it feels like, I think I said something about it last show. It feels like, we're Alabama and we're playing, Coastal Carolina every week. We're supposed to just beat them by 50 points every week without a doubt. But there are some genuine questions. And at the end of the day, Victory Mondays continue, and the Birds are 4-0. I think they're 19-1 in their last 20 games.
Yep.
You can't question it right now. The team's doing what they do.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And this reminds me of, what was that when they went, what they go, 10-1 or 9-0? Is that
10-1, 2023? Yeah.
I get those vibes. I do.
Well, and that's what we're here to talk about. That's where I'm here to
those vibes.
break some things, about that. This isn't quite 2023. I don't want people to get that skewed. We can bring up a couple of players that are playing for there later, on that team, and some coaches where they are now and all that. So I think this team is much more built to handle adversity, but I do think that outside of a week 5 bye, which is now week 9 for this team, I think that they have a sort of identity crisis that they're sorting through. But I think it's a matter of how do they sort through this in the best way? Because I think we can, if we're going to go ahead and lean into some takeaways here, I just want to say one thing. Regardless of stats, Jalen Hurts continues to be a vocal, a more pronounced leader on the sideline. We're seeing so much more footage of him not sitting there with the towel over his head, Cam Newton style. He's walking up and down the sideline. He's much more involved. You know what I mean? He seems to be. He seems to. I think we can both agree. We don't put Jalen Hurts in the top 3 of quarterbacks in the NFL. Neither of us do. I think I'm a little higher on him than Nate is, but I will say we both agree that he has taken a step forward in leadership, and that is being shown. And I think that there's a lot of guys buying in, and there's a couple that could be not, but I think that was part of what we touched on in the offseason show, is that this team has some things to clean up, and it's cash related. It's money related. This team has some things that they have to sort out, and it's very hard in the NFL to balance out the business side and the flat out just win games in the best way possible at the same time. And so here we are 4 weeks into the season. This team's 4-0, and yet there's people pounding the table for questions about the offensive coordinator and the passing game.
What's up, Marcus?
What's up, Marcus? What's up, dude?
I'm trying to think here because I'm going from the player's point of view. And I do have Jalen as a top 3 quarterback, actually.
Ooh.
I do. And because there's more than the stats, right? I said this before. He's an enigma, right? He really is to me, because his greatest attribute is the greatest attribute that you can have. Even though he hasn't, he doesn't have the pinpoint accuracy, the arm, the anticipation, or the numbers don't reflect the talent he has from a throwing the ball perspective, but he just has that it. And that it is winning ball games. Like you said, you can't coach 19-1. He's had different coaches, different OCs, different teammates, et cetera, et cetera. So you can't remanufacture that. That just is it. You have it when you win, and you will teams to win. And not even that, when the lights get brighter, you show up. I can't remember. I think you brought up his name, Cam. Cam said a thing about, I can't put my hand or my stamp on a game that says, yeah, Jalen Hurts went and got me that. Right. And to an extent, I would agree with that. But when the game's on the line, when the lights are the brightest, he is the biggest star on the field. He's done it twice in the Super Bowl. And I've seen it in person against Buffalo. Was that last year or 2 years ago? I think it was last year. It was 2 years ago.
Jake Elliott, amazing field goal. That's a fantastic game.
When he went and ran it in, and I was at that game, and I saw for my own eyes. Now, Josh Allen put on a hell of a show. And I understood
we both said he's the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, and I understand that in that game. In that game. But who won the game? And who had the play that made the most impact? That was Jalen Hurts. So I said hater for a reason, because I think in Be Humble, our guy Brent said this before. When you look at him as an enigma, you have to kind of look at the quarterback position a little bit, because he's changing how we view the quarterback position, because he's just so goddamn efficient. And if it means throwing 15 for 16 and only have 100 yards in the first half, but you're up 24-3 or whatever the score was, then that's what he's going to do.
What does it matter? I mean, if this kid was in college, year after year doing this, you'd be praising him as the Heisman Trophy winner, every year.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, they got up, and you could, they got up, they put the back up, and we don't count stats to that thorough of a degree. I would say, and we started off on a tangent, which I love, because usually this means that the banter continues. I do want to touch on one thing.
Got it.
And I think this goes from Jalen Hurts being a winner. Let's talk about 2023.
Mm-hmm.
There was no Quinyon Mitchell. Darius Slay was there, but opposite Slay was a question. The nickel position was a major question, which in this defense is very, very important. There was no Cooper DeJean. There was no Zach Bond. There was no Jahad Campbell. Reed Blankenship was there, but they brought in a Kevin Byard who is not built to run that defense. He had never ran that defense in his life. I think Kevin Byard's a player, but I don't think that this defense served him any justice. When they got the personnel figured out in 2023 on defense, they then switched play callers. Because Sean Desai had faltered. Matt Patricia was the name there because they hired 2 at the beginning of the year. I mean, Patricia wasn't there as, he was there, but he wasn't, there to be just a guy in the shadows. I mean, this is a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator.
Mm.
Patricia comes in, they change some things. They just don't have the personnel to run the defense they want to run. Well, now they do. And the defense is the heartbeat of the football team. All the money's on offense, but all the golden nuggets are on defense. That's where they've drafted these players. They've developed these players. There's stories like Jalix Hunt. There are stories like Keely Ringo, who looked good, this weekend. Arguably, in my opinion, there was a missed tackle or two I disagreed with, but he has been better in coverage, and he fits the defense more seamlessly than Adoree or Ja'Cory Bennett has up to this point. They take guys like Moro Ojomo, and they let Milton Williams walk because they have a guy that's ready there to seize the moment. And then they continue to draft and replace. There were a couple mistakes this past game from Campbell on the wheel route where he was left solo dolo and he got beat. That's fine.
I don't think it was a
got
mistake.
Lost in coverage on the
go ahead.
back end. These are things that are not, we're not nitpicking these things, but I think at the end of the day, the strength of this team is the defense. So every question is going to come around back to me and you and say, well, you have all these Ferraris in the garage. Why are you not driving them? And I agree. But right now we are dealing with an offensive line that is beaten and battered. Lane's already hurt. I have said it since the offseason. Jordan is dealing with something. Go look at every single player on this team when the Eagles take the photos of when they leave on a road game to get on the plane. Jordan's the only guy with a full leg sleeve on. They're not comfortable to wear, in case anybody's wondering. They are not the most comfortable thing ever. You're wearing it for a reason. Mm-hmm. Landon, meniscus cleanup, a little bit of back stuff. Cam is coming off back surgery. Tyler Steen got banged up. Our guy, Tyler Steen, got banged up with knee injury this past game. Fred Johnson had to fill in for 14 snaps. Matt Pryor had to fill in for 5 at right guard for Steen. Steen ended up coming back into the game. But, I think that's where I'm trying to get to here is just what are we – I think we can both agree the defense is fine. And that's where in 2023 the defense was so bad that it made no sense. Now we're here – I think the defense is as solid as it gets, man. I mean, they went from the 30th unit to the first unit in the NFL with Vic Fangio.
Thanks.
Yeah, I did just get a text about that. I see pop up.
Yes. So, Don, I don't know if you met Ernie B yet.
Yeah, Don Don's like 13 years old. I know Don Don.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that joke.
Yeah.
Been a while, Don. Oh, yeah. So let me say this out to everybody who's watching or is not watching. So the Money Pot channel has been rebranded Money Pot Sports. And it's being rebranded because of a filter and a restriction that the original name I can't say because it might get filtered out has been restricted. So if you guys are watching this right now, you need to go into your settings, sign into YouTube, go into general and turn off the restriction and you will see all the videos back. It might look like we haven't gone live in like 3 weeks or a month. It's not the case. We're in a little bit of a rebranding. So just in case I forget to mention that early here in the video, I want to take time to make sure that you guys get that. Turn on the notifications, hit the subscribe, become a member, know when we're going live, know when we have videos.
Comment, subscribe, get involved. I'm telling you,
right.
It's good things coming, man.
You two tried to hit us they tried to put us down, but like the eagle, we will soar and we will come up above and stay undefeated.
You two came in with them
that's crazy,
shots, man. That was rough.
Yeah, Tyreek can't catch a break, man. Like literally, no pun intended, but he can't.
My only comment on this, man, and I will say it as cleanly as possible. Karma is one dog of a thing when it gets to you.
Yeah, man.
But I digress.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Don. Always appreciate you jumping in here. So, but back to what you were saying, and I think this is one of the takeaways, and we can go right into it. I think that I didn't have this as my top takeaway, but I did write down O-line and D-line injuries are starting to mount up, and that is going to be a problem moving forward. The core, you said the heart of this team is the defense. The backbone of this team is the offense and defensive line, right?
Well, I would just say this team is built from the trenches out. So
for sure, old school.
You identify the two most crucial players for the team outside of the quarterback, because the quarterback is always going to be the most crucial when we're built in this sense. But yes, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, Quinyon Mitchell, Jalen Carter, and Lane Johnson, they hold that weight the way this team operates. Yeah. So yeah, that's the way this team goes. And you're right, they are seeing Ogbo Okoronkwo Played 4 snaps this weekend, and in his first action of the year, and ended up tearing his tricep. So he will be out for the year. So that's another blow. I think the worst part about the offensive line, and I'm going to let you get back into it, but the worst part about the offensive line is that it's very lingering injuries right now. It's not anything major. They can play through it up to a certain point, but then they're shuffling, and then they're subbing guys in and out. There's no flow to the offensive line right now, and I think that reflects in Barkley's performance.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and it's just, I think I think it's they're just gonna have to gut through it till they get to the bye, and really they can get held up. I'm not sure if they have a mini bye coming up, maybe where they play on a Thursday.
Sure there's some primetime stuff in here coming up, but it's nothing. It's nothing too crazy. I mean, I know for
the New York game, they play so after the Denver game. See, this is a bad turnaround. After the Denver game, which is this Sunday the 5th, they play New York.
What time do they kick off with Denver?
1:00, which sucks for Denver.
Another one. All right, and that's in Philly?
It's in Philly. Yeah, okay. No, it's here. It's in Philly. And then
it's at New York, right?
Yeah, and then they have Thursday at New York.
In LA.
No, at Minnesota after that.
At Minnesota, Carson Wentz should still be playing potentially there.
Yes, Wentz will be playing, but
it's at 10 New York at home.
Yeah, and then they get a bye. So it's actually they got to gut through these 2 games. They get 10 days off, then run right back to New York, and then they get then they actually get a full bye. So, it's kind of like a mini bye and then a bye, but the 2 games within 4 days is going to be rough for sure. But like I said, the O-line, D-line, I think you kind of touched on that. I think that was kind of right there, 3A, 3B for my takeaways. But my top takeaway, and I think you would agree here, got to win.
Yeah, but let's talk about that boy right there.
Hold on, not yet. I got you, bro. We got to win.
Right.
We got to win. We are one of 2 teams that are undefeated, right? Buffalo Bills are the other undefeated team. And me and you started off the year saying that this team was going to go 2-2. And now they're undefeated. They're 4-0. They've kind of run through the gauntlet that we had, that we saw. Dallas is always –
This is the first gauntlet of the year. That first stretch was tough as all get out. That was a bully stretch.
Yep. And then, we're at the tail end of it with Denver. And then we go, New York, Minnesota, New York, and then bye. That's what kind of we had said. But, to the point of the theme of the season that I keep going back to was really Jalen Hurts and whatever it takes to win. And this team has done that. And I think coming out of this game where they are notoriously bad and have played bad in the second half was almost an epic comeback by Tampa. And the reason why it didn't is, again, because of that man right there. But looking at how this team was able to hold on, able to get a win, able to go down there in the heat, facing adversity with injuries. Obviously, we'll talk about facing adversity after the game. Man, it just feels good to be 4-0. Because only one other team can say it.
Well, yeah, and
that's the key. That's the key. The big old W.
That's
what I mean? I think anything above that, I know you might have how well Mitchell played, but anything above that is meaningless if you didn't win. You got to win the game. Yeah, and then we can talk about the details.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So, all right, I'll just let it simmer for a little bit, bro, because now after we go up, we got to win. But man, the drama come with this? Excuse me.
Can I do one thing real quick?
Go ahead, talk to me.
One thing real quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all.
I got the stats already. So if you're gonna talk about stats, we can go to stats in a little bit.
Oh, you got Quinion stats versus the Bucs?
Yeah, I got Quinion stats. I got you, brother. I got you. I hold you down.
My dog always see. That's one thing that everybody knows about the money pot sports podcast.
Woo!
Is that
Drop that new brand name.
It's all about helping each other out. We're a small team, but we do what we got to do.
Right.
I'm gonna just tell you this. My response
Go
to
ahead.
anything about my boy 11, which funny enough, growing up, that was my number. So I 11 holds strong. To get I told years ago, T.O. was my guy. Like that. That was just to get Terrell back then when I was a kid like that. I was like, oh my
That was special.
God, bro, superstar. Like this is I've never seen anything like this ever. Like this is just crazy.
Yeah.
I when I watch some stuff that I've seen on tape, and I thought the red sweatband was he's always for his daughter to see him. Him and Devontae will wear bright cleats and stuff, but it wasn't the cleats anymore. It was this red sweatband on the forearm, the Kobe sweatband.
Right.
And there ain't nothing red about Philadelphia. There's not really anything red about Pennsylvania. So what are we really, what are we really doing here? Like, I could see if you want to be seen, and that's fine. But my guy, you have been praising New England for an obscure amount of time amidst, again, I will say it again, the greatest run in Philadelphia Eagles football history.
Mm-hmm.
And this is our wide receiver one. And yet he does this. After what, 9 targets? Couple balls were off the I'll say it to you like this. If the throw was that bad, it wouldn't have counted as a target. There were a few that were out of bounds, and that's fine. They were uncatchable at the time.
Yeah.
But you were still being targeted. These are not throwaways. They track these stats very specifically.
Okay.
You were targeted 9 times.
Mm-hmm.
But the video I shared with you earlier, I mean, shout out Shane Half, man. You look at Half, a team that you apparently talk about accountability. You talk about where your bread is buttered. And then you block like that on a QB or on a QB draw or an RPO pull.
I'm with the player on this one, because if you're not welcome, not listened to, quietly withdraw, don't make a scene, shrug your shoulders, and be on your way.
Okay.
I'm feeling as a player.
So go to have fun, because the best GM in football is now going to make a deal with a rookie GM.
So hold on. Is this breaking news? Do you say
no? This is simply just the story that has been out.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Does AJ Brown finish this year in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform? Give me a percentage, if you could put something on it.
60 he does, 40 he doesn't.
Okay. Ooh, that's high. 60-40? Ooh, that's high.
If I told you that you could walk away from a player that you have doubled down on an investment on, you've kicked the can twice on, and let's just say the opposing team is willing to eat $92 million up front, you're going to do it every single time, man. The compensation has to make sense. I mean, AJ wants to be a number one receiver. He wants to, what was it, Nate? It was, I want to dominate the man in front of me or whatever. There's
no better feeling when the cornerback comes back and he has his head down and he just knows he can't F with me.
That's fine. You're not Calvin Johnson. Okay.
He doesn't have an opportunity to be Calvin Johnson. 9
targets says otherwise. Calvin was double covered down the seam. Had no problem catching the football.
He doesn't have Matt Stafford throwing him the ball. This is a different type of quarterback.
Okay, so have fun. Look, This is one of those situations where there's a reason why this team drafted Devontae Smith 9th overall.
Yeah.
But I am not going to tell you Smith and AJ are in the same category. They are not.
They are not.
I think they are the definition of a 1A, 1B. Now, a lot of people would like to take T. Higgins over Devontae Smith. I'd give you an argument there. I think Devontae's more of a complete receiver, and I think he can run the route tree better, and I think he has better hands.
Yep.
And I think he's answered to sustainability more than, enough about his size. He gets jacked and leveled every other game and seems to be, fine coming out.
Yeah.
He's
a tough when he tries to high point the ball and he falls down hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he still plays the next play, man. He's a little dude. I mean, as a skinny guy, I respect it. I mean, he, you fall down, you hit the hard, whatever. I
was going to say, he's a Super Bowl champion. He's undefeated this year. Why is anyone complaining? It should be rainbow and sunshine in Philly. You absolutely right. But this is what I want to say, because this is the psyche of a player. And you have to know your players. This is part of being a head coach. He has to be involved or he will mentally check out. He's not cut like the other cats that say, and I think Jalen Carter came out with this one after the game. He said, I'd much rather win and have a bad game than have 4 or 5 sacks and take a loss.
And Jalen Carter is the guy that we talk about as this awful human being. Right. He is this negligent, uncoachable football player, and I've never heard him say anything to that. And this is still the same football player that I would pay more money to than AJ Brown.
And AJ Brown needs to feel like he dominates the game. That's the way he's wired. It's evident when he said about the Super Bowl win. I was good on the Super Bowl win. I won at the highest level possible. And after a day or two, I was like, I'm ready to go back to work. I'm ready to go back to lab, because now it is individual. Now it is legacy. Now it is about he got the goal of being a Super Bowl champion. Now the goal is to be the best wide receiver. And you can only do that.
He's not even close.
Because I can't say that because
dude, he had career years. His best years were with the Eagles.
We're here. Yes, his best years.
Last year is his only down year, and that was because he was hurt.
He was hurt, and he still got a rack.
He has no ground to stand on. You make the money. The ball is thrown your way. You don't like the way the offense goes. So here we are. Do you really think New England is going to make your life better? Because what I was hinting at earlier, there's only one team that can mathematically take him on.
Was that New England?
Yes. There's one team that can take him on, and it is New England. And just to put this into perspective, Nate, without some contract, jambalaya,
yeah,
the Eagles eat $92 million if he's traded or cut.
Yeah, that's not
$92 million.
That's not happening.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not
so
happening.
Shut up and get into line and play with the rest of them. But I'm also going to say another thing. There is a reason why this football team has 10 wide receivers on the roster, including the practice squad. They did it since week 1. They have a little and let's come back a little bit.
Yeah.
Where do we always go deep, Nate? O-line, D-line.
Yep.
We are always deep in the trenches, excessively deep. And I mean excessively deep. Like, they rostered 7 DTs in 2023 and the initial 53. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, they are heavy there. They're always 10, 11 offensive linemen. Right now, they're 9 offensive linemen. They're 5 DTs. And they have 10 total wide receivers on this roster. That is including Darius Cooper on IR. So 9 active wide receivers as we stand today.
Talk to me about, so now we're getting a little bit in the weeds, but I like it because now we can play the conspiracy thing. Talk to me about his contract. You said they're owed 92. So
His contract is so muddy that it would take New England would have to.
I don't know. Not with Surtain out there, bro. Might be a bad move.
I mean, AJ's as good as he says, bro. But like, I mean, you're talking about Defensive Player of the Year coming up. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, he didn't do it against Tampa, and he was force-fed the ball in a lot of comebacks. I didn't think he was coming back to the ball very strong.
A lot of those, I think somebody else said this. So those route trees that they have them doing, it's very basic. There's no creativity to it. It's
okay. So my response to that is what was AJ's comment after the last game was that we have a team full of killers. Just let us ball. Okay, go ball.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Go ball.
No, I think everything you're saying is spot on. But I think there's in this situation.
I think this football team is a dynasty without AJ Brown. No. Make that very freaking clear.
No, they're not.
He is the best offensive player on the team because Saquon Barkley cannot be great without the offensive line performing at their peak.
I agree.
And it's not Mekhi Becton. The guys are banged up from a long year last year. Barkley already has more touches than he had in the previous year up to this point. So let's just, this is what happens. Barkley's going to take a drop off. But this offense, at its peak, Goddard, Smith, Mechie, Dotson, these guys are opened up because of AJ. The problem is AJ doesn't want to be that guy anymore. He wants to be the star of the show. And that's okay. He's in the waning years of his career. I mean, he doesn't have 10 years left. He's probably got 5.
Who, AJ?
Yeah.
I think he's got 5.
He's my age, bro. He's got 5, 6 years left at most.
You mean at this level, at prime AJ?
No, I mean, he might have 3 left at prime. I mean, no, not the way his body's built. No. Not the way his knees are built. No.
Yeah, no, I hear you, Don. He's going to want the challenge. He's going to want the smoke. So I do agree with that because at heart, he's a competitor. And like I said, I think in this instance.
But but this team is greater than persona.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying,
you know what I mean? Like there's a standard to be met here.
But in this, and I'm just saying, in this instance, I think 2 things can be right at the same time. And I think that's what it is. What you're saying is absolutely right. You just said that this team is a team full of killers. Then go kill. Go do your thing. That's part of the team concept of what you think. But not really go kill. I'm sorry. That might have got hit by a restriction.
That was verbatim, too. That was from
right? Like it's just it is. It's just getting.
I didn't even think about that, too.
Right? Yeah. Right. The restriction when YouTube.
Hey, we good. Man, wipe it down. We good. We good.
Maybe I'll clean it up or something or bleep it. But then at the same time, again, I go back to knowing your personnel. And knowing what makes this guy tick and what makes him go.
Yeah.
You got to get him involved. You got to get him early because I mean, yes. I think we've heard this. I think who was it? What show that was? And they were talking about was it? It was actually no, it was AJ Brown. It was AJ Brown on the Gilly show, $1 million worth of game. And they were talking about Quez dropping the ball in the Super Bowl. And what he was saying,
we talking about the clear out route.
Yeah, the clear out route. And what he was saying was people don't understand the way they use Quez Watkins, who was back in house, mind you, by the way. When how they used Quez Watkins was that he was the guy who stretched the field. Yeah. So when you think about this person that is asked to run 40, 50, 60, 70 yards or however many yards down the field every single time, and he doesn't get the ball. And they ran 35 to 40 plays every game. Now he does not doing it every game, but he's a large amount of his role is to do that. So then it gets even magnified when he gets the ball, he sees 2 or 3 targets, and he's got to be ready at all times. So you have to be locked in at that time. And AJ Brown is saying this out loud because he knows how his mind works. He knows what makes him ticks. So he's reminding people, not just outside of the room in the Philadelphia Eagles organization, but inside the room. It's like, this is me. I need to get the ball, and I need the ball in my hands early and often to keep me involved. If not, just going to shrug my shoulders, just going to just quietly fade to the black, because we don't know what's been happening in-house and how many times maybe he's been calling, hey, I'm out here. Hey, 11's here. Hey, I was open on that
Always
one.
open.
You know what I mean? Hey, did you see me on that read? We had a spot. You know what I'm saying? And then when he gets open and Jalen gets either pressured, Jalen takes off. We don't see it. It's really I like I said, I think two things can be right in this situation. I think he has a right to have a grievance. I think the Eagles can say, shut up, we're winning games, we're undefeated. But it is really interesting that we're undefeated, one of the best teams in the NFL, and there's so much drama. So much drama.
You need to talk about that drama for about 30 more seconds because you know what I'm about to do to you.
This guy, man. That's all right, man. Go ahead. Get out of
You
here.
need to have something that pops up on the screen that's like,
Yeah, I do actually. You know what I do? Here, let me show you.
Do 1 hour later from.
This is what I have.
Flag.
That's a flag on the play by that guy. Look, I got an empty chair on a live show. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna come to money. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk about what's going on. So, for those who are still watching new, or if you're still here, I'm gonna repeat it again. The restriction of AI has come into the YouTube world, and our show, which was based off certain things, are now under that restriction rule. So now we are now rebranding our shows and rebranding the platform as Money Pot Sports. You will still get the same content. It will sound a little bit different and repackaged in a way where we're not getting restricted. If you are watching this and you don't log into YouTube, please log into YouTube. Set your age and all that stuff so you do see our content. If you don't log into YouTube, you don't have to. Make sure your restrictions are off so you see all our content. And as always, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Join to become a Money Team member. We have all kinds of tiers. We had our first live guest last week on the show, which was great. And we're looking to do it again. And make sure you hit the subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend, as I always say. And Ernie B is back. Non-Washington. All right.
Dude, that Sirianni video is one of my favorite. Like, he threw that thing. Like, dude, that is one of the funniest videos that is not being used in Philadelphia media, especially in like the Barstool side and everything. Like, dude, that is freaking hilarious. He chucked that thing, dude, with his entire body, and they lost the call. That's the best part too. Like, they lost it. Like, but he put his whole body.
Yeah, I think they did lose the call. That is funny. That is funny. So, first takeaway we got for you guys: gotta win. Second takeaway, and I think we're on the same page here, is AJ Brown, and then our guy Don talked about Patrick Surtain, but I want to talk about somebody else, and maybe, and we'll talk about it, the best cornerback in the league right now, in Quinyon Mitchell.
We're not going to go there. Come on.
And Quinn, I don't know.
Let me tell you something.
I don't know.
I think if there's one position I'm really good at, and this comes from proper training, is corner. Because I had a certain someone argue me over PS2 to Sauce Gardner, and then my guy won the Defensive Player of the Year.
He did
for the first time since Stephon Gilmore. So
he did.
You know, I'm a little decent at the corner thing, but I think that this year, what is awesome is I don't know if it was Ian Rappaport or Jeremy Fowler, but they put out a story after week 2. Maybe it was week 1 after Quinyon was following Pickens, that he is going to have that duty now, and that his job is to shut down the main receiver of that week if there's a player that they feel, is that much of a threat.
Yep.
Devontae Adams was one for the Rams, and he did fantastic against him. His job was not Puka Nacua, so I don't care about what Puka did against him. Puka might be the best receiver in football right now. It just, it is what it is. It's not my cup of tea, but it is what it is. Yeah. This dude, 72 snaps, 9 targets, 2 catches allowed, 6 yards allowed, 5 PBUs, and a 39.6 QB rating against the Bucs. I don't think you can ask for better. He was tested time and time again.
He was.
From this guy, Baker Mayfield, who I respect a lot and is a really good quarterback in the NFL. He did not try Kelee Ringo. I mean, Nate has been on Keely's ass about not being able to be a substantial corner in this league. And Adoree got smoked. Jacorian Bennett had bad snaps. Kelee Ringo put the best tape out, opposite Quinyon this year. I mean,
Adoree got hurt, right? Adoree got hurt.
Adoree didn't play last game with a groin. In the past game, and then Bennett put in some snaps. But in my opinion, man, this week from the start, the Mitchell-Ringo-DeJean combo was the best thing they had. And Makuba, shout out Makuba, he actually played all snaps, even in base. He was on the field. So Makuba moved to nickel. And when we talk about base, guys, we're talking about a 5-2-4 combination. So that is 4 DBs, 2 backers, 5 down linemen. Now, one of those down linemen sometimes can be Jahad Campbell. It could be Bond, depending on how they line up. But in base, they're a 5-2-4 front, in which case Cooper usually kicks out to the outside. And now Makuba's moving down into that base. And they're doing some things. Trotter's getting some snaps out there. They're trying some things. They're moving Sidney Brown in and out. I think through 4 weeks, the fact that Vic is toying with things and they are still as good as they are is a really, really good problem to have.
Yeah, I think you said this earlier on in the year that you felt like this defense, as young as they are, had a chance to be one of the best, if not the best defense in the league. And I think it's starting to shape up like that. They just don't have a pass rusher somebody who can say, go get the quarterback. They don't have it. And I think that's the one area that's missing. I think you saw between Campbell and Bond, I mean, every passing play he was sending one of them, right? So they were sending.
He's blitzing much more. Yeah, he's blitzing much more often than usual. But from your point as the player, though, you would say that's a lack of trust in the edge rushers in this scheme.
I would say so. Yeah.
I wouldn't say, but what's the best way we can put it? Not lack of trust, but it's more of there's help, whereas, a lot of times they're helping one of the DBs, they're helping one of the safeties, helping one of the corners. It seems now that because of how well Bond and Campbell are playing and how interchangeable the two of them are. I think we talked about this at the beginning of the year, though, when they picked Campbell. This has the chance to be like Vic had with Warner and Bowman. I mean, he has 2 guys that can do the same thing for him. Maybe
he had his best game too,
but he trusts them.
Yeah, I think Campbell had his best game. He had that great pick was that the end zone? Was that the end zone?
Yeah, it was the end zone. He had the one.
He had
the one wheel route where he was 1-on-1 with Bucky Irving, and Irving got loose on.
Yeah, you talked about that earlier. I don't think a lot of people were yelling at that one. I mean, from a linebacker perspective, he was an inside linebacker, even the edge linebacker. If that guy appeals, then you have him. And Bucky's just faster. It was a good play.
Yeah, he's fast as all get out. And
Baker it was a perfect ball by Baker. It was a good play.
Campbell was with him for the most part, and I think
it was a good play.
That should be applauded. Campbell was right there. So
it was a good play. It was a weakness in the defense where you had 1-on-1 when you had a fast running back on a linebacker, and he was there. So
the rush should have got there on that play. The rush should have got home.
I'm not really mad about that play at all because it was a good play, good read.
Makuba slip up on the
Makuba's was a bad play because he bit on the out.
He did, but the funny part was he had the athleticism to be in the right spot, right time. He just didn't recognize it. That's
and he just threw the ball up. He just threw his hands up. You know what I
mean? And that's where it's like I can trust him to get that back on the back end. You know what I mean? Like I trust Makuba to be better about that. I trust Campbell to take a better angle on the pass. I mean, I think the rookies, when we talked about it, one of these shows, the Eagles keep hitting on these kids in the first, second, third round, dude. And that's the recipe for sustained success. And I think as of now, Campbell and Makuga have showed that they are worthy of what's going on. Mitchell had his best game as a pro. And I think that moving forward, he's going to get tested a lot more this year. I think we can both agree on that, is that this is kind of his prove it year of where clearly Baker didn't respect him on tape and he tried him. But what did he do? He held the motherfucker down because
if he plays where he was holding, but I mean that's how they play.
Tom Brady brought it up, which Brady has actually been really, really great as an analyst. And he was a little grabby, and he called Quinyon out for it. But if they're not calling it, it is what it is. He's not like that all the time. This is 103-degree weather. He was getting he's a Florida boy, so he should be able to deal with it a little bit better than most. But he wasn't worried about it. He was a little grabby here and there. They had some ticky-tacky calls. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Fine.
I don't think when the ball was thrown and he was in coverage, he was like glue.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He would hands in perfect position. He was in position to make a play. So, all the little grabby, tacky.
Head turned every time.
Yeah, there was head turned, hand between, between the it's hard to say this. Hand between other guys' arms trying to catch the ball. Yeah, like he contested everything. So, and that's why I put it up there. But you know else who had a great game, who's having a great year? Cooper is a short time, and I'm coming to my point. Like, who's better?
I think he's the best nickel in football without a question. I don't think there is another player in this league playing that position at that level. Teron Johnson was the guy for the Bills. I don't know if you know him, number 7.
Yeah,
he's always been phenomenal at that position.
I think he was all pro. Didn't he go all pro last year?
I believe he's been at least Pro Bowl or all pro at least once.
Yeah.
Really good football player. Coop is just, these open field tackles, there's a reason, guys, why it's not just let's put Keeley out there. Let's just trade for this guy to go out there, because Vic really doesn't want to put Coop on the outside. His defense works best when Coop is right here and in town.
I agree.
And I think a lot of that, we could circle this all the way back to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And where Gardner-Johnson lost it with the Eagles was he was great free side, strong side safety, but his interchangeability at the slot, he didn't have his legs like he used to. When he was young, he could keep up with those guys out the chute. He could take those routes step for step and really be just, sticky and gluing coverage. Chauncey's still a great hitter. He is still a very physical football player. And I think that, teams are dumb for not adding the player to their roster, regardless of attitude or whatever. You just have a guy that wants to win. But the way Coop navigates traffic and the way Vic describes the position, that you have to be almost a DB and a linebacker at the same time in that defense. And I think he just does it so well. The communication between Blankenship.
He's a safety playing nickel.
Well, yeah, and you have the communication between Blankenship, Bond, and DeJean and Mitchell is so clean that if they can just find somebody else to go to the other side that'll listen, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Slay was, if you guys can watch Slay this year. He's taken plays off. He's having him sit out a couple plays, just like I pitched it out last year, just because he's getting old, man. But he was always in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
They just need one of these young bulls to be in the right place at the right time and listen to the communication, understand when to pass off, understand when it's okay that I can't quite get this guy, pass him off. And that's when that's where the nuances of this defense get very tricky. But I think when you have the down linemen playing like they are, when you have the linebacker tandem playing like they are, and like you just hinted at earlier, Campbell and Makuba get better by the week. And so they'll figure edge rusher out. I think they will. Zadarius looked a little gassed in his 32, 35 snaps that he had. He looked like the heat was getting to him a little bit. So that was good.
Yeah, he was high. Yeah, no, once you see linemen start popping up high, and
Yeah, that's one of the things.
He's not. I mean, it's kind of, you said this again, giving you some more credit about how he feels that BG role. Like, you can't expect, like, if BG was playing, you can't expect BG to be an every down player. You cannot expect Zadarius Smith to be an every down player. He's not there in his career.
You need fresh legs. That way he can play those third and long or second and long down lineman roles.
Yeah.
I want him in his hand in his dirt. I want maybe an Uche. They refuse to play Ojulari.
Something got to be there. Something's got to be wrong there.
I'm sensing the Devin
Vic has to see something that he don't like.
I'm sensing the Devin White thing. I'm sensing that they're going to hold on to him until they feel like they can get a trade value, and if not, they'll cut him when his contract's guaranteed for the rest of the year to do right by the player, which is fine. It's just, I'll put it to you like this.
Was he inactive last game too?
He hasn't dressed one game this year, man.
That's crazy.
And and remember, he's the guy that canceled out Isaiah Rodgers' money. So yeah. he was the one that they brought in, and that negated Isaiah Rodgers' 6th-round pick compensatory for the football team. So he was technically their highest paid free agent this cycle, and he hasn't done anything. They paid guys internally, obviously, but I tell you what, Howie's having a hard time hitting on the edge. I mean, Bryce Huff, and then this, they've got guys like Smith, who you've talked about, longevity, durability, have been some of your concerns with the player. And I think we're right into that. But I just want to throw a little something out to you. Do you think they rushed Smith back into action a little bit too soon due to the lack of depth they had at the position? I mean, to re-aggravate a tricep that you're wearing a full 3-piece brace on, it almost seems like maybe you should have sat out for the first couple weeks of the season.
Yeah, is he up for contract next year? Is next year his 5th year?
He is. No, he's up for contract next year.
So I think it's part a little bit of. I mean,
him and Carter could go into 5th year. So let me just clarify real quick. Him and Carter could go into 5th year. It'd be more likely that Carter's is picked up regardless because they're going to work it into contract negotiation.
Yep.
Smith's the one that is kind of more on the Jordan Davis front, although Jordan Davis is in the midst of his breakout year, so it's working for them. Carter and Smith are due coming up. That is where the money is getting.
This is Davis's 5th year, right?
No. This is Davis's 4th year. He will be playing in his 5th year next year, which will be fully guaranteed for like $12.9 million or something, which is now looking like a steal compared to how he's playing.
This is Carter's 3rd year.
Yes, this would be Carter's 3rd year, so next year he's eligible for an extension.
So we got was that the year that we had 2 first-round picks and we went Jordan Smith? I thought Smith.
No, we went Carter Smith. Carter picked 9.
Yeah, okay.
Smith picked 30. So we picked Smith with the Super Bowl loss pick, and then we picked Carter with the pick from the Saints, I believe, or somebody like that. Dolphins, something ended up getting real high up.
Oh, it would be Smith's 3rd year then, right? Because he's with Carter. It's the same year.
Smith and Carter. They're on.
Oh, okay. Year. Okay, I thought I got
Davis was his own pick. Davis was with Juergens and Nakobe Dean and Keely Ringo.
Okay. So it is possible. Right, because from a player's perspective, you see these guys coming in, and some of them are veterans, some of them know how to pass rush, and you might not feel like your position is solidified, even though you had a great playoff hot run and you played with a torn tricep. But in my head, you had to show strength in that tricep to be even just approved to play.
Well, yeah, he was cleared to play. I think my argument to you was, do you think that they could have been more conservative in that sense if they had the depth that they believed in? Because they overextended their depth into that position, clearly for one reason.
Yeah.
And now they've lost Smith to a tricep re-aggravation, and then Okoronkwo is out for the whole year. So that's a 53 spot.
And none of them, and honestly, if you think about it, none of them's hit. And even my guy, Jalix Hunt, has been a little bit disappointing
Well,
so
this is
far.
one thing I wanted to pump the brakes on Hunt. I think Hunt's been very good, but I think one thing about Hunt is based on tape. I think he's a excuse me. I think he's a better run stopper than he is a pure pass rusher. I think he's more aggressive in the run game, and I think the pass rush game can be developed.
And they use him a lot. Like he drops in coverage a lot.
He should. He played safety at Cornell. I mean, he's supposed to be the tweener. He's the project guy.
Yeah.
Last year he was kind of thrown at the wolves just because of the way things went. You know what I mean? Injuries and all that. I mean, Bryce Huff not being anything, BG getting hurt. It ended up in they needed some bodies, so the third round pick had to step in.
Yeah, and he performed too.
No, he played great. I mean, and I thought he's been good this year, man. I just think that people are trying to expect him to be this, premier pass rusher. That's not what he is. Like, it's just not.
Well, I thought he had the juice for it.
I think he does, but I think that we're also. I think we're speeding up his timeline. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to be patient with Jalen Thompson.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, I get it. Looking at the upcoming week, big game coming up. Denver's coming to town. What's your preview on this game, and do you feel? I don't want to say the Boo Birds because nobody's booing being 4-0. But if we win in the same manner in Tampa, does this start to continue the bubble? Like, does this get louder and louder and louder? But we praised Petula one half. Now we're like, what the hell are you doing? Because it was crazy. He had no passing yards in the second half.
No passing yards.
No passing yards in the second half. So it's just like you said, trying to find their identity. Can they do this against this Denver team, or is it too much to ask against a Denver team that's pretty good beating Denver Cincy right now?
Denver's got a really good freaking defense, and so that needs to be understood. And Bo Nix is a good young quarterback, but I think the defense with Vic Fangio can take advantage of that young quarterback. Okay. They do have a good run game with J.K. Dobbins, so I think that's going to be a problem. It's been a problem for the Eagles so far. But I think they should, in theory, handedly win this game. We will see, and I know Don hinted to this, but we will see. I don't see a A.J. Brown play sheet.
Force feed him.
No, I don't think they do. I think that
they get him involved early, I think, but I don't think they
force feed him to Patrick Surtain is you're working backwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think the shots to AJ have to come natural, and I think that's his problem with it. Just because Jalen tends to take the check down recently. Yeah. So I think they win this football game. I just don't think it's a I don't think it's a pretty one. I mean, to be 4-0, I'd love to predict their first loss. Denver doesn't feel right, but it's at home, so I don't.
Has any of the games been pretty?
I mean, the first half against the Bucs was pretty. That was pretty routine as to what I. What I wanted to see. I mean the differentiation of the tush push. I mean they showed some shit. The
tush toss the
tush
to Gallagher.
You know what I mean? Like the little flicks to Dallas Goedert. I thought Andy Reid was calling plays.
Yeah, it did look clean in the beginning, and then just.
But it's just they have to sustain that.
Yeah.
But I also think that there's a factor where there's a lot of heads in the locker room that want to eat, and it's really hard for an offense coordinator and a quarterback to feed everybody.
Yep.
So they got to figure that out.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Denver game is going to be a tough one. I think looking at the way the week falls out, I think one of these are going to be – it's hard to say, man. I want to say one of them would be a loss. I think we have to – any new news on any injury updates? I know it really comes out tomorrow, but anything you got from Any of your sources?
Nothing worthy. Nothing worthy. We're keeping an eye on Lane. Okoronkwo with a torn tricep, so he's out for the year. So that, in theory, opens up a roster spot. But yeah, they've got some shuffling probably coming tomorrow for us.
Okay. I think Denver, like you said, good young team, well coached, some good players on there. It should be a good test for the Philadelphia Eagles. I agree. I think we should fly high in this one. I think West Coast traveling east. They're playing right now, so they lose a day, and then they lose time with the 1 o'clock. So I think the Eagles, to win this game, they need to jump on them early and often in the first half, kind of break their will a little bit, and then hopefully we can see some Barkley long runs or something in this game, because I know people have been waiting.
Just one, man. We need just one.
Yeah, just one. Waiting to see that. So we'll see how it all plays out, but I think it's just a bad spot for Denver at this moment. You know what I mean? Again, they're in the middle of a game. I think they're up 21-3. I think that's that score of that game. And then they shut it down, get ready, for the, do treatment and stuff for tomorrow. Look at their reviews. Wednesday is, kind of, I guess, a walkthrough per se. Thursday, another practice, and what?
Wednesday is weightlift, soft walkthrough, hard practice kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then Thursday is when they get into it. Friday, they're ready to make a move.
Yeah. And then fly out for Saturday or Friday to get it adjusted.
Depending on the team.
Yeah. And then they got to play early at 1 o'clock,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we should win this game. Like you said, I think we shouldn't have a problem with them, but it'll be a good test and a tough test, and it'll be fun. I'll be down at the tailgate on the thing, this one again. So I think we covered everything, man. It's kind of crazy to go on these up and down roller coasters with this team being 4-0, but there's still so many things to kind of pull back the layers, and how winning is really not the most important people to most people. Like style points is part of it, and I get it, but you have your defending Super Bowl champions undefeated and on top of the NFC right now. So I think that people just need to chill out. Be happy we're 4-0. You know what I mean? Just relax.
That's what they said last year. Everybody just piped
Yeah.
back.
I said the same thing in 23, and it just went all up in smoke, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Nah, that was a little different.
I think it would be good. For myself, this is Moss Money. That's Ernie B. This is Victory Mondays. We will see you guys next week, hopefully, for another Victory Mondays and more drama that probably come with it. We will see you guys later.